Hey, Brooklyn Squad, good evening. Happy Saturday, everybody. Today we are doing a interview on a case that has been whew, very strange, I must say. To me, I just feel like there's a lot of corruption going on with this case. And with this case, like all cases that I have seen, corruption, right, allegedly, right, plays a part in a lot of it. And that's really, really sad when you have your trust in the authorities. Hey, Katie, when we have our trust in the authorities with someone with a badge and a gun, someone that says they're supposed to protect us and we're supposed to feel safe, right? But at the end of the day, we're not safe. Matter of fact, that same pow pow is usually used on us. And today, you are going to hear a grieving mother, Miss Barbara Hall, who her son, Timmy Dees, has been missing for a while. And now they have discovered his body not too long ago. Matter of fact, I'm gonna wait for her to come. I don't think she's here yet. Let me just read what it says here. Missing man found unalive months after he vanished in Missouri, officials say. Timothy D was 26 years old. He was missing months before his remains were found from Missouri. Months after Missouri man vanished, authorities say they have found his remains. But see, the problem is this. They could put all this on the out there, but they refuse to help the mother. They refused to help her. They was giving her the runaround. Investigators found human remains at around 8 a.m. local time Thursday, July 21st in Madison County. And Missouri State Highway Patrol spokesperson told the news. Well, it sounds like Frederick County or Madison County. We got a problem because allegedly this young man was found on a property that I have never, for the last 2 almost 3 years, been doing cases, have ever heard an unalive person been on a judge's property. Okay? So there's a lot to this case, right? But I'm going to let the mother speak because she's going to speak for her son. So when she comes in, when she's ready, we going to let her come on up here. But how is everybody doing? I hope everybody is doing well. You know, these cases, they're a lot. They're a lot. And you know, I put a video out yesterday because we have a, and let me say that too. We have a, what is it? She's 12, I think I want to say, Katie. I don't know if you saw, I think you saw that video that I put out yesterday. And she's missing from school from Brooklyn. Like, how does that happen? How do you just walk out the school? How do y'all let these little kids just walk out the school like this? Like, what is going on? Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Like, what's going on? It's just insane. Let me pull that up while I'm waiting for her. Because there's no Amber Alert for this little girl. Katie, did you see that one? I don't know if you saw that, baby. Hold on, let me see. So I can make sure I give y'all her name. Her name is Heaven Bonte, 9 years old, missing from Brooklyn, New York. So please go check out the video. It wasn't a live, but I did do a video yesterday. She's from Brooklyn, New York. She walked out of her school apparently, and she's been missing since. Okay, the little girl is only 9 years old, and they don't want to put an Amber Alert out on her because they're saying that it's not necessary. It's not the right protocol. But goddamn, well, tell me what the right protocol is for a 9 years old little girl who's gone missing. Please tell me. What is the right protocol? So yeah, I get emotional when it comes to these cases because it's just insane. So now you see what I'm saying when I talk about how the authorities, right, got some shishers with them. Yeah, and she 9 years old. 9 years old. And they don't want to put an Amber Alert. But then you got also cases like Timmy Dees, mother, for instance, right, who's going through hell and high waters to try to get justice for her son. And no one is doing the right thing for this mother. No one is doing the right thing. Put it in the freezer. No one is doing the right thing for this mother. How do a child wind up on a property that he had that is beyond? I've never heard of this, and I've been doing cases and I've done plenty of interviews with parents. I've never seen this before. But not only that, why is it that when a mother wants to see her son or her daughter, that is the right protocol, right? Not for this case, they saying. Not for this case. Hey, Arctic Fox. Hey, babe. Yeah, they saying not for this case. Not the right protocol, Amber Alert, for the 9 years old little girl. Arctic Fox, that 9 years old little girl that's missing. They won't put an Amber Alert on her. They're saying it's not the right protocol for her. It's just that there's so much corruption. It's crazy. I had brought that up because I'm like, damn, man, you got Timmy Dees case. I feel that there's a lot of corruption in this case. And that's just my personal opinion. You know what I mean? That's just my personal opinion. I just feel like there's a lot of corruption when it come into this case, and that's why I want the mother to talk about it because she could tell her. Nobody could tell her son's story but her. You know what I mean? Um, No Amber for a 4 years old missing autistic boy in Alabama either. This is crazy. Oh, let me put the things up here. Yeah. It's insane. It really, really is. It don't make no sense, Artifacts. It don't make no sense at all. This little girl walks out of the school. First of all, why they let the little girl walk out of school? I have no idea. She's been gone since 2:30 in Brooklyn at that. Brooklyn, New York. So you know I had to put the story out too. So it's like Brooklyn. And she's still missing. And they have the nerve to say this is not the right protocol for Amber Alert. Mm. And now look, autistic boy in Alabama, 4 years old. You said 4 years old, Arctic Fox? I'm gonna have to cover that then. Yeah, I'm gonna cover that. I'm gonna cover that too. Wow, sickening, right? Sickening. And talking about corruption, like I was saying, Timmy D. I was telling his mother, I was telling Miss Barbara, I said, you know how many parents that I've talked to that they won't let the parent that they won't let the parents see their own child's body? Like they refuse to let the thank you, Otter Fox. Thank you, baby. They refuse to let the child get seen by the parent. First of all, if anything ever happens to my child, God forbid, you are not gonna tell me I cannot see my baby. I want to see everything, everything. Oh, oh, Otter Fox, who's that? Until he was at the. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. It's crazy. That's what I was telling her. They always do that. They always do that. They always tell parents that you cannot see your child. What are y'all hiding, officer? What are y'all hiding, Patricia? What are y'all hiding? Why can't I see my unalive child, my baby? What have y'all done to my baby? What have y'all done? What bruises have y'all put on my child? And God knows how many organs y'all took from him or her. Because let me tell you something also, harvest organ trafficking is huge. Is huge. Second one is 16 years old mom in Mississippi who took off with her 2 years old son with her abusive 15 years old. Whoa! Oh no. What? I'm gonna cover those. Thank you, Art. I know I hear my phone going dring, dring, dring. I'm like Art Fox is sending them up to me. Send them on to me. Okay. Wow. Ugh. What? These teenagers, you can't tell them nothing no more. They just swear they grown. They swear they grown. 2 days old baby. 2 days old baby. Oh, that baby don't even need to be out there. That baby needs to be indoors, especially with that nasty flu going around. My nose is itching at me like crazy, y'all. Hold on. I was telling Katie today I got bad allergies and I do not use my nose spray at all, but I think I might have to. Oh, take a Claritin or something. 2 days. Oh, wow. Oh, man. Wow. Headaches and blood sugar issues, and yet no silver amber alert. What is going on with these people? What does it take for them to get an amber alert? Let me read up the thing on this because this is crazy. That really pissed me off. This is Oh, look at that little baby. Oh my gosh, y'all, I just can't. Mm-mm-mm. What does it take to get an Amber Alert? And let me ask y'all, is every town or every town different or something? What does it take to get an Amber Alert? Let me see what it say, y'all, because this is crazy. This don't make no sense. Amber Alerts are only used for the most serious child abduction cases. When authorities believe a child is in immediate danger or serious bodily injury or death. So y'all gonna wait for a child to be buried out there dead for y'all to put an Amber Alert? Really? Do better. Terry varies by state. Texas is easier the most. Texas is really? Wow. They said authorities believe a child is immediate danger or serious bodily injury or death. Well, from what Arden Fox said right here, a 60 years old mom, she's only 16. This right here, Amber Alert, her boyfriend is abusive and she has a 2-day old child. Wouldn't that be a necessary Amber Alert? All these cases for me should be an Amber Alert, but I mean, what the hell? Department guidelines or criteria for issuing Amber Alerts is the following. There is reasonable belief by law enforcement that an abduction has occurred. So that's the thing right there. They want to make sure it's an abduction. Okay. Hello, good afternoon. Oh yeah, well that's what you welcome. That's what we do over here. I volunteer on helping families spread awareness for the victims and their family. Police ain't trying to help. I was want to say your name right. I might say your name wrong, but just forgive me if I do. Okay, Marion, 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 GTSSY. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. I get names a little messed up, so just bear with me, okay? But thank you. Yeah, we got to put these cases out here. Artie Fox does an amazing job putting it out there too. Oh, that's Barbara's sister. Okay. Oh, hi. I am so, so, so sorry. Um, wow. My condolences. So, so sorry for your loss. I send my sincere condolences to you and your family. Oh, let me put the link down there for Barbara. I don't know if she was here or not. I tried to do it the other way, but it wouldn't go. Oh, she's been here. I don't know why she didn't say nothing. If you're here, Barbara, hit that link and come up. Oh man, it said yeah, because I tried to do it the other way, like Artie Fox was saying before, but we're not friends on Facebook. I think you have to be friends on Facebook. But it's okay, it don't matter. You could come up this way. Yeah, we was just waiting on you. So I was just trying to kill time a little bit. But yes, my sincere condolences. Yeah, because you know these where was that one at? No, let me see. Is that a little one? I don't know. What you mean on top? I don't know, on top where the milk is. What? Oh no! I mean the top shelf of the refrigerator. Let me see. Is that mine or the other white one? Mine? Let me see, babe. Hold on. What do you mean? No, this is yours. Okay, yeah. Okay. I was confused because you got two of them over there. Oh, mine's is in the back. Okay, okay. Oh, you want me to close that window down a little bit? No, just shh. Justice for all, yes. We addicted to watermelon in here, y'all. Don't mind me. We addicted to. I'm addicted to watermelon. I got hubby, I think, addicted to watermelon now. Yes, justice for all. We were saying that there's the yeah, you like watermelon? But you know it's not the right season for a lot of it. But I be trying to get I like the ones that's really sweet. Gotta have the sweet, sweet ones. Cause I can't a lot of fruits I'm allergic to. But is Barbara here? Where's Barbara at? Hold on, let me see. Okay. She might be maybe something came up. Yeah, I'm addicted to watermelon girl. But yeah, man, Arctic Fox, wow. Let me see something, y'all. Oh, it says the abduction is of a child aged 16 years or younger. What you say? I commit what? I commit the cardinal sin of saltiness to my watermelon. You like your watermelon? What's that artifact? What you mean? Do you like sweet watermelon? You like yours sweet or like tart? I gotta have it sweet. So they saying right here that the oh yeah, that's why I said you like sweet or tart. You put salt. Oh, you put salt in Barbara go.
Hi, I'm sorry. For some reason, I was thinking it was 7 o'clock. I've been nervous all day over this.
You was
I
why?
don't know. It's just hard to talk about.
Oh, it's okay. No, it was at 7 o'clock. Oh, is your
Oh,
time different?
well, no, it's 6:30 here, but my sister said you were on, so she just called me and told me to get on here.
Oh, it's 6:30 there. You're different
Yeah.
from my time. I'm Eastern. I'm seven. So
Uh,
right now it's 7:26.
oh, I'm so sorry.
No, I didn't know. I'm sorry too. I don't know why I think that everybody got the same time as me.
I do too.
Oh God, this is too funny. It's okay. We got you up here though. It's okay. Your
Yeah.
sister's here. Aw, how are you?
I'm doing a lot of praying, standing.
Yeah, prayer works.
I know.
Prayer
I
works.
know. I wouldn't be here if it didn't.
You're very pretty.
Thank you.
She's so pretty.
I
You're
tried to
welcome.
fix myself up a little bit tonight. It's the
I knew
first
you.
time I've had mascara on in 3 years.
Uh-uh. You're very pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to do a check-in first to see how you're doing. You know,
It's
I know
election
it's
year. I'm ready to get my son's story out. I
okay.
need answers.
Let's do it.
I
Let's
mean, I just feel like this year's my year to start roaring. Honestly, the roar like a lion.
that's right. Aw. Your sister says she loves your shirt.
Yeah, well, of course I had to wear my shirt.
Uh-huh. Justice for Timmy.
So,
Yes. It's
what I
wonderful.
pray
Yes.
for every day. And I believe in miracles from God.
Yeah, me too. So where where's Timmy from?
He's from
Where's he originally from?
St. Louis,
Oh,
Missouri.
he's from originally from St. Louis. Okay.
Yes.
St. Louis. St. Louis, Missouri. So what happened? Tell us what happened to Timmy when
Well,
he went he okay, go ahead. You tell us what happened to Timmy. He went
first I'll
missing.
say what kind of person Timmy was.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that, but I was okay. Well,
He
go ahead.
was
Go
he
ahead.
was funny. He was kind of shy until you got to know him, and then you saw all of Timmy because he liked to act silly and laugh and joke around, and he was just funny. And then his brother died, so he was grieving his brother, and he was sad at the time that he came up missing. That's the truth, because he had just lost his brother, so that makes it hard.
Sorry. My condolences.
So his friend, his childhood friend, the kid that actually lived in our house when he was younger, when he was a little kid, I let him stay at my house because he just had family problems. I felt for the kid. He was Timmy's friend.
Mm,
And then, so when Michael, my son Michael, died, Timmy reached out to his friend that knew his brother. That's nothing unusual because he had moved up to closer to Creve Coeur, St. Louis, for work because I raised my kids in Marble Hill, Missouri. So
okay.
they moved up to St. Louis for work, and I followed. I wanted to be close to my kids. So
Mm-hmm.
for Caleb to come and pick Timmy up would have not been a surprise. I mean, he was confiding in a friend that knew his brother.
Right.
And it was the only friend Timmy had, so, it didn't surprise me. And then I don't know, at 1:30 in the morning, he was a lot. Well, Caleb came up to St. Louis, picked Timmy up, and brought him to Fredericktown, Missouri. Tim, I talked to Timmy the day before, that day. Well, actually, I talked to him that day before Caleb picked him up. And then I started, honestly, I went to church. That Monday, I didn't hear from Timmy. Tuesday, I was unusual because after his brother had passed, we talked every day. I mean,
Mm,
sometime before that, a day would go by and it wasn't unusual. But after his brother passed, there wasn't a day that I didn't talk to him.
got it.
And he had stayed the whole week prior to that with me. We cooked, we laughed, we
Mhm.
cried, I
Oh.
scratched his back. I mean, we I loved
Mm,
him and he loved me, and he'd flop in my bed and we'd watch movies and just the things that you do with your adult children, I guess they still come flop in your bed and want their back
Hmm.
scratched, you know. And I was more than happy to do that. I loved him.
Wow.
And then that Monday, I didn't hear from him. Tuesday, I actually went to church and I came home, and I can't even describe the gut wrenching feeling of something was wrong. I mean, I physically was shaking, pacing my floors, feeling like I was going to puke, just nauseous. So I called my neighbor and I'm crying. And my neighbor, I said, something's wrong with Timmy. And she said, well, maybe we need to make a missing persons report. And I hung up the phone and I called the police.
Mm.
And I called the wrong police department, actually. I called St. Louis County, and St. Louis County told me to call Jefferson City from where I live. And I called him and I told him that my son was missing. And they said, well, you tell us where he is, we'll go look for him. I said, well, if I knew where he was, I'd go look for him myself. But the late lady that answered the phone in St. Louis County, she was just so sweet to me that I thought, well, what do I have to lose? I'll call her back. And she
Right.
goes, no, she said, you call them back and you tell them that you want a missing persons report done. So that's what I did. And they came here and I made the missing persons report. Then the following day, I found out he had went to Frederick. Well, Caleb had picked him up from up here and brought him to Fredericktown. And then I was shown a video. Well, I didn't get to see the whole video. I had pictures of it. I was told about the video. There was a video of Timmy at the Sea Barn gas station with Caleb, Bobby Boone, and Ellen Lawler, and a few other people I can't think of, and Trevor Holland. They were all at the gas station on video with Timmy, and Timmy was there. Well, from what I'm understanding, Timmy left with Caleb and they all went to Caleb's house and they started partying. Then at 4:40 in the morning, there was a 911 call saying that my friend is threatening me. But they're saying that I cannot prove that Timmy even made that phone call. But it came from Timmy's phone and Timmy's gone and he passed. So something happened.
Right.
So, and then I would try to call the sheriff's office, and every time I called the sheriff's office, they would tell me, well, we'll have a deputy call you back. And they never did. I mean, I was calling 5 and 6 times. So finally, it's probably the only time that I went off. I haven't went off through all of this because I try to keep my composure, and it's about my integrity of fighting for justice for my son. So I just don't go off on people. But I went off that night and I said, hey, I said, I'll tell you what. I said, you're going to know who I am when I show up at your courthouse and I move in.
Mm.
And so that's what I did. And I lived at that courthouse for 5 months with signs, putting out flyers and everything to look for Timmy. But for 6 weeks, I couldn't get the police to look for him at all. And the problem with that is I told him he was missing and they just would
Mm.
not look for him. But if the 911 call was made and it was from Timmy's phone, they were there in 5 minutes. I have documents to prove that they were there in 5 minutes. And they arrested a guy that was standing outside of the house. Well, they questioned him later, and he failed a lie detector test, and his stories changed. And his story wasn't the same as Caleb's story. Caleb's story has changed probably 10 times.
So let's just so wait. Okay, so Timmy calls 911 for help.
Right.
They go to the house.
And they're there in 5 minutes.
They're there in 5 minutes. Do they search for Timmy?
No,
Do they ask for Timmy?
not that I know of. As far as the documents I have, nowhere on the documents doesn't say they looked for Timmy or did anything for Timmy. That's where the problem lies. When I mean, I can call 911 where I live, and accidentally call them and hang up, and they'll call me back, or and
Yep.
then after they call me back, they show up at my house.
Yep.
I know that for a fact it's happened. So I don't understand how they go there, they arrest a guy, and then they leave, and they
Right.
don't look for the person that made the 911 call.
Hmm. Right. Very strange. I was about to say that the person that made the 911 call, you don't look for him?
Well, the phone's gone, they said, and there was a check in on his Facebook page on March the 27th, which would have been exactly a month from the day he went missing. How does that happen?
Hmm. When you reported this, what did they say?
They just took a report. Oh, when I reported the face in check in,
Hmm.
oh, they told me they were going to check into it. I waited a few weeks, called them back, and they said, "Oh, anybody can do that." And I said, "No, sir." I said, "I can't take my phone and check you in to Fredericktown, Missouri on Facebook."
Hmm. Okay. Wow. All right. So now,
So,
now at this point, Timmy's missing.
right, at this point, Timmy's missing. I can't get him to look for him. So, my friends and family and people that I know, we all had started having searches for Timmy. Because all this time, I did not know that the report said that his friend was threatening him. Caleb was telling everybody that he had talked to Timmy on the telephone, and Timmy was running and saying somebody's chasing him. That was one of Caleb's stories. So, all
Hmm.
this time, for months, they led me to believe that Timmy was kind of paranoid because they were partying,
Right.
and he took off saying somebody was chasing him, which did not make any sense to me because I know my son Timmy. By no
Right.
means was he perfect, but he wasn't into what they were doing. My
Right.
son just wasn't into that.
Right.
And that's how his brother died. So that was even made it a thing you just didn't mess with,
Right.
the things that were going on there. So then afterwards, we, like I said, family, friends, we all went there, we searched. And then a friend of mine has a niece that's married to a fire department, he's a fire chief of the fire department. And he brings cadaver dogs, but he tells me that before he can bring these cadaver dogs that he has to get permission slips, and that was on March 13th. I mean, I don't even have to get my paperwork out to tell you this because I know it so well.
No way. Right.
Yeah, so March 13th, we walked around and we knocked on people's doors and we got permission slips to go on their property with these cadaver dogs. Everybody signed them, everybody gave us their phone number. Very nice.
That was
Well,
nice.
so then on the 15th of March, we had another search with the cadaver dogs, and the cadaver dogs hit on these storage units, which was 5 and 6. They looked in storage unit 5, but refused to look in storage unit 6 because they said a police officer owned it and they had already searched it. But my boyfriend was there, and I talked to the guy that had the cadaver dogs, and there was no time for them to ever search that storage unit. So my boyfriend said, "Can I see in it?" And they refused to let him look in it. They pulled the sheriff's truck up in front of the door because my boyfriend even was on the phone with the guy that owned the storage units, and he said, nice guy. He said, "I don't, if you think he's in there, drive your car through there. I'll replace the door. I don't mind, if you really truly believe that." But there was no way of doing that because the sheriff parked her truck in front of that
Hmm.
storage unit.
Mm.
Well, and then so and then Timmy was found on July the 21st, uh, there's just so much suspicions there. 184 yards from where he called 911. So I can't help but think if they would have just looked for him. I mean, I couldn't get him to look for him for 6 weeks. Why didn't they not look for somebody that called 911?
Right. Right.
It's just, and
Um,
there's so much stuff that I have that they just told me it's undetermined, go away. You're just a, I mean, I'm a delusional, might be delusional mother that just can't accept her son's death.
that is so disrespectful. Oh my, I can't even. I know you told me I was that just so disrespectful for them to say that. So
I
disrespectful.
mean, the lawless files guy actually put the recordings out there. So if you look at Justice for Timmy Dees, you can even listen to the recordings of the way they talk to me. And all I want is I don't know how to stop fighting to get answers because I feel like I'm stuck in this place that they're forcing me to be in. First of all, investigating my own son's case, and they won't look at anything I have.
Did
It's
they
the
close?
first thing. Yeah, they closed it.
They closed the case.
Oh, they
Can
closed it like immediately.
Oh, they closed it right away.
Oh, yeah, it was immediately closed and told me it's undetermined. I need to go away. And I'm like, wait a minute. In the first 2 days that he was found, they were calling me up, telling me these different stories about how they died. And I said, well, why are you even calling me? The coroner's report's not even in yet. Are you trying to convince me of these stories? And then when I have questions about the stories that they would tell me, they would get mad at me and yell at me or hang up on me and tell me I just can't reason. They can't reason with me because their stories just don't make any sense. I mean, I just want a reasonable explanation on what happened to my son. That's all I'm asking for.
What was the cause of death?
They just said undetermined
Undetermined. Where did they find your son's body?
on the judge's property, 184 yards from where he called 911. And a lot of people don't even
You.
believe he was there the whole time. And
Mm,
then uh, there was nothing left of it. There was nothing but skeleton remains. He had, well, his left hand was gone, and he had a tattoo on it of a bionic hand. He had just gotten it. Uh, that his left hand was gone. A few of his toes were gone, and no hair, no skin, no toenails, no fingernails, no nothing. His bottom tooth right here was gone, which don't make sense because he had a permanent retainer that came across here, and there's a tooth that was gone. They never found the retainer or the tooth. And then the top number 8 tooth was missing, and they put it back in his mouth. Well, why did they do that? And then not, and then on top of it, they never documented it. So that just didn't make any sense
mm.
to me. So when I questioned that, they said, well, maybe they had to do reconstructed. Well, if you have to do anything reconstructive, then a crime's been committed, correct? I mean, I don't understand that.
Very fishy. Like corrupt. It's, when I first started talking before you got up here, I was saying like to me allegedly, because I have to say allegedly because of YouTube guidelines.
Right.
Allegedly, it's a lot of corruption.
Well, and I'm starting to kind of think that way because I met so many other parents in the same town that there's just crazy stories about their adult children. Apparently, they're suicidal. They call them suicides, and they've killed themselves. They're suspicious
Mm,
stuff that goes with their cases too. So I just really don't trust anything
mhm.
to it just none of it makes any sense. It's a lifetime movie, and I just feel like I don't understand
Mm.
why as a parent, I have to do, first of all, investigate everything. Then I don't even know what to do with what I get when I do find out things, because I don't even know what to do with the stuff, because
Right.
I can't get anybody to look at it, and I don't even know who I trust to look at this point.
I
Because
was
everything I bring to them, it's like they just give me this lame reasoning for it. I'm like, well, I don't believe in that many coincidences. I just don't.
I was just gonna ask you that too. Like, who have you talked to any lawyers, any any oh God, investigators?
I've talked to lawyers, but one lawyer told me that it would cost $35,000.
Ooh,
And if I didn't have that, the only thing I could do is speak out and tell his story and yell it to the mountaintops and don't stop until somebody gets some attention to it. He said, but I'm just going to be honest, it might get you killed. And I said, well, I've lost both my kids. I know where I'm going. So I'm not scared of that. So I guess I got to scream to the mountaintops. I mean, the way I look at it, roar like a lion because I don't have $35,000.
that's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. Two suicides overturned by independent autopsy, and I have been found in the attic, rolled up in the rug.
Yep.
Mm,
There's a lot of cases, and it's the same sheriff, same highway patrol, and same coroner in all of these cases. There's like 7 cases. It's like, well, wait a minute, something ain't wrong here. There's only 40, well, I think it's like 44, 45,000 people that live there. And my sister lives in a town that's just as big, and they've had 3 murders maybe in the past 15 years, and they've solved them all. And you've got all these murders. I called
mm.
the coroner up and I said, did Timmy have clothes on? He couldn't even answer me. And I thought to myself, well, how do you not know that? If you're the coroner of that community, how many deaths are there that you can't remember that my son, if he had clothes on or not? And you say you're with a man that was there that drove him up to St. Louis. You personally drove him up to St. Louis, but you don't know if he has clothes on. You have to get back with me. And then he never got back with me.
Unbelievable. We
And I
know
mean, I'm
that,
not saying anything here that is not legal, that is not true, that I don't
right?
have documents to prove it. If I don't have a document to prove it, I'll tell you I don't. But what
Right.
I'm telling you right now, I can prove that. But getting somebody to look at it is,
Mm,
oh.
wow.
And I feel punished. I feel like they're punishing me because they don't want. How do you move on grieving if you don't have answers? Believe me, I've prayed about it, I've cried about it. I don't understand it when there's so much there that they just won't even look at. I mean, I can, under my bed, I got a big tote. I can get it out and show it to you right now of documents that I have that they never looked at because they never sat down with me, except for the time I drove there, and then they didn't want to listen to me on that. And that was talking about the Facebook page check-in. Well, then when I offer them the rest of the stuff that I've had and been told, and stuff I've collected, you know how you just have to do your own investigating, pretty much.
Yeah.
And they told me everything that I have is a lie. Well, how do you know everything I have is a lie if you haven't even looked at it to tell me it is a lie? Why are you brushing me to the side and brushing everything that I show you to the side, like his shoe. His shoe was found up. Oh, they said it was considered a dry creek. So in other words, the water's not like when it's raining, it might fill up with water, but there's not constant water there all the time. I went to where he was found, and his shoe was up on the top of the bankment a little bit, one of his shoes, and it's clean. The inside of the shoe strings, and everything are clean. Well, if he was out there for 5 months, don't you think there should be some dirt inside that shoe or something? There's
Exactly.
so many unanswered questions. I just want him to sit down and give me a reasonable explanation for all these questions that I have because I live and sleep this case. I mean, it was my son. You live it all the time, and if maybe if they just give you a little, can give you some closure or what happened, maybe I could just figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. Other than that, I know all I know to do is fight right now. I'm still fighting. It'll be 2 years, February the 28th, that he came up missing.
I was gonna ask you, because we know that organ harvesting is a big thing. You know, was your son's? Well, I had asked you this, on the phone
Yeah,
before. Do you think that his organs was
I have no idea. But it wouldn't, I mean, nothing surprises me from there
yeah?
now. I mean, nothing, the things I've heard that go on there, nothing would surprise me.
Your
Because
sister
when
said
Timmy was first missing, I was getting phone calls and people would ask me what color his hair was and his eyes were. And when I would tell them, they would gasp for breath. And I'm like, why are you doing that? And they said, well, there's a lot of sex trafficking going on there, allegedly, because I don't know. It's just things I have been told.
your sister says the judge couldn't smell that. That was my next thing, right? He didn't.
Well, yeah, because if you go to the judge's, well, he's sold the property now. He's retired and sold his property and moved to Florida. But yeah, if you go to that property and you have to go across that little bridge to where Timmy was on the right there. You'd have to drive by over it every day to go back and forth to work
Right.
for that judge. So yeah, I don't understand that either. I would think you would see, buzzards and smell. It would just be
Something.
different. And where his
Right.
tennis shoe was found looks like the grass was mowed. I'm like what? So he's had to get that close to the woods because the woods aren't. There's just a little patch of woods there. It ain't like it's a forest. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I'd have to show you the pictures, but yeah, it's not like a big forest like people would think because I
What?
went there personally. So you have to go across the bridge and you take a right, and Timmy was found right there where he had to go straight over up that bridge a little bit to get to his house.
And that would hit you like you were able to.
You would think.
Right. That's.
Well, and then the other story they told me was that, I mean, I can't help but just get a little giggle out of it because it sounds so ridiculous. It's those things sometimes that you keeps you strong, to just be able to laugh for a moment because it's
Yeah.
so unreal. They told me that the current took his shoes off, which at that time I didn't know his shoe was up there on the ground, and then you got the little ditch, like the dry creek they call it,
Mm.
is where Timmy was found. They didn't tell me that at the time. They said, well, no, their first story was he was running and he ran out of his shoes. And I go, well, if he was running, somebody had to have been chasing him because I know my son well enough to know he would have stopped and put his shoes back on. He would have put his shoe back on. I just helped him clean that shoe with an old toothbrush. He was about his shoes. He just bought them. They were Jordans. He just bought them at Thanksgiving. So
Mm.
then that's all I said to him. I said, that doesn't make any sense to me. And then he went to, well, we think that the current took his shoes off of his body. I go, oh, so the current was that strong. It pulled the shoes right off of his body. And then what? The current stopped and left the shoes there, but the phone went down the current, down the creek. Now, I've been fishing. I've been to a lot of creeks and stuff. And lakes and everything, and I've never seen the current go be that strong and then just stop and just leave your shoes there. That doesn't, I mean, come on. To me, that's like, I got some common sense.
Right. That don't even sound. Yeah.
I mean,
Mm-mm.
why? And this is like right after he was found. And I said, why are you even calling me to tell me this stuff when the coroner's report isn't even done? And he said, he goes, well, he says, there's no reason for us to talk to you anymore. You're just not going to reason what anything we have to say. And I said, because your stories don't make sense to me. And they were done with me talking to me.
Wow. They just one side thing. Uh, they hit on the storage unit, right? The storage shed. That's what
Yes,
your sister's saying too.
the cadaver dogs hit on storage unit 5 and 6. They were certified cadaver dogs. They were not happy we even had them. And I talked to the guy that was there with the cadaver dogs, and he told me that they got treated terrible. And yes, they hit on storage unit 5 and 6. So the police were called. They got there and they opened 5 and they refused to open 6. But they're telling everybody that they did and it was searched. That they searched it before we got there. But nobody was. We were there the whole time. So there was no way they had time to search it because somebody was always there at that moment. So you tell me how they surged it if somebody was there watching it the whole time.
And when they went to the dog, the cadaver dogs hit on something, but they did not want y'all to.
They would not open the storage unit to let us see if he was in there.
That is very, very
They
strange.
told us said that it was a police officers and a resource a guy what do you call him for the school. He was a resource officer for the school.
That's strange. That dog hit on something.
Well, yeah. And then
You
they
know what I
tried to
mean?
tell me, well, no. Well, then I went to Jeff City last year for the missing in Missouri, and they had cadaver dogs there. And I talked to the lady that owned them, and she said, "Hey, I've listened to your story, and that's not possible because I saw her there with her cadaver dogs and the other people that were there." And I said, "May I ask you a few questions?" And they said, "There's no way that that could have happened. You know that the cadaver dogs don't hit on because the sheriff mentioned that it could have been a dead mouse."
Mm,
And so that's why I started questioning about cadaver dogs because she made that comment that day. And
mm.
that lady and that man said there's no way and even let us hide for the cadaver dogs that they had. And that cadaver dogs went everywhere we went to find and found us.
Wow.
So I mean the missing in Missouri, what they do for is really a
Ooh.
nice thing. I thought
Wow. Oh, oh, there you go. Wow. Your sister and he okay, so your sister says he's has no skin, no hair, nothing. Oh, I can't hear her. Oh, does she say she I think she's on the phone. I think she's on the phone.
can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I thought she was on the
I
phone.
can't hear you.
Oh no. You can't hear me. It's on your side then. Go back, go out and then come back in.
Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Go out and then come back in. Let me type it. Maybe I can't even type it. I don't know if she's gonna. Yeah, she knows. Yeah, go out and then come back in. Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? That's just the devil working on us so she don't get her story out, but that's okay because we got God on her side. It's gonna be all right. She got a higher power. You see how Satan starts, how Satan works? You see that, Miriam, how Satan works? Oh, she can't hear anything. Go in and come back out, Barbara. You probably gotta yeah. Sometimes you gotta re-upload your laptop. That's what I gotta do to mine sometimes. I gotta turn it off and recharge it and upload it again. Yes, right? Like she got God. We got God on our side. The devil trying to block it. That's what it is. That's what it is. The devil trying to shut it down, but nah, not over here on Brooklyn Squad, baby. Uh-uh. Not over here. She gonna get her story out. And then we're gonna share this everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. I'm gonna be here for hours making little short clips of it, putting it out for her. I'm gonna drop the link again for her. Just in case. Oh, there she go. I didn't even have to drop it again. There
But it couldn't, and I
you
changed it
go.
back on.
You good. See, look at that. I said the devil
I'm
was trying to
learning as I
stop it,
go.
but now you got God. Like God was like,
Oh,
bring my
I can,
angels
I
back
can
up
tell.
there.
It's like, for an example, this, I tell you, God works. So I have been blessed in a lot of things and information that I have gotten about Timmy's case that
You.
is not normal. It's definitely a God thing, regardless of how devastating this is and the way they've tried to block me. And they don't even know I have this, but I'm going to put it out there. I have a receipt that showed that his debit card was used at that gas station at 1:30 in the or 12:56 to be exact in the morning. He checked his balance. He got $160 out of a few minutes later, right after. And then at 9:11 in the morning, his debit card is used again and it's failed. But when he was found, the debit card was in his wallet in his back pocket.
Very strange. I wonder how they could explain that one.
Whoever used that debit card had
Right.
his
That's what I'm
body.
saying.
And
Mm-hmm.
then I looked at pictures that were taken when he was in, the stuff that was in his pocket. And there was this little yellow thing in there. And it looked like one of the things you kind of just spin around in your finger. I didn't think much of it. Got to
Right.
but then we started thinking about what is that? And come to find out it's a tracking device. I don't know why Timmy would have a tracking device, but I know when he was at my house, he was my son. He'd come in, he'd empty his pockets and throw his stuff on my coffee table and flop on my couch, and he owned the couch. That's just the way my
Right.
kids were. And he didn't have that at my house. So then I
Mm-hmm.
even called his friend that Caleb picked him up at and asked him if he had it. He said no. And then I asked him, I said, well, did the highway patrol or anybody talk to you? And he said no. And I would think that that would be important, that you would talk to the person that Caleb picked him up at his house.
You
There's just
or
so
his
many.
friends that was there with him.
Yeah. Well, that guy wasn't there. Yeah. Where Caleb picked Timmy up at, you would think the police would have talked to that guy and said, hey, what time did Caleb pick up Timmy? You know, you're all going by what Caleb said, which does not make any sense to me when I found out Caleb's been shooting meth for 2.5 years. So I don't trust somebody and his story's changed 10 times. I mean, I could just go on with that part of it. And
Yeah.
so why would you not question that? Then my nephew went to Cape Girardeau and picked up Caleb's sister, and he said he was my nephew was telling me she tricked him into picking her up and taking her to where Caleb lived, where all this stuff went down. And when he got there, she didn't want not she didn't really want him around, and she caught Caleb. Her name is Winter Kelly, and Amber Green, Caleb's girlfriend, cleaning up the scene and was picking up needles and stuff. They never questioned my nephew about that.
Wow.
So if this is the way I look at it is
Wow.
okay, if you want me to go
Unbelievable.
away and you're saying that there's no homicide or anything, then what do you know that I don't have that you can tell me so I can like move on then if you've got all the answers and what I'm saying is not true. Because they called me a liar 5 times on the recorder. I'm like, sir, I'm not lying to you about this stuff that I talked to the FBI and they're telling me I didn't. I don't know why they're saying that because I did not lie. I have talked to the FBI and they were going to get a search warrant on that phone. And then when Timmy was found, I called them back and they said that the Highway Patrol had called them and called off that search warrant. And I said, well, I don't understand that because the phone's still not found. And they said they didn't care. That was up to the highway patrol.
Mm.
I, I hate. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing at because sometimes when I'm even telling it, I'm just and unbelievable. It's just how do you? I thought that's, I don't know. I guess I trusted the police. I thought that's what they do. They're detectives. Maybe I watched too much Dateline because I've always liked Dateline. Well, when they ask people questions and their story changes that many times, why would you not question them more? So Trevor took a lie detector test, the kid that got arrested. He failed it. His tests don't even his story don't even match Caleb's story. The other guy that was there doesn't match Caleb. None of their stories match, and they've all changed their stories. Well, when I talked to the prosecutor about that, I said, well, why aren't you still questioning Caleb? Because first Caleb said he'd do a lie detector test after they set it up and everything. Then he refused to do it and asked for a lawyer. And then weeks later, he said he would do it again. The highway patrol went over there to pick him up to take him to do it, and he was gone. So they haven't even questioned him anymore, which I don't. And I said, well, maybe I watched too much Dateline because on Dateline, if you lie, they question you more whether you have a
Right.
lawyer or not.
Right. Exactly. This is wow. So wait a minute. He one fails the lie detector test and the other one says, yeah, I'll take one, and then doesn't take one and then just scrams off and they're just okay with it.
Yeah, they're just fine with everything. I'm supposed to just move on. So my boyfriend, he went to Caleb because Caleb had another court date for something else. I don't even know what it was for. My boyfriend went to the court date. I couldn't go to the court date. I had shingles in my eyes, had a doctor's appointment. So he went, and a few other of my friends went with him that's been supporting us all. Went to the courthouse, and Caleb told him, well, I have kids. I can't talk about it. I have a kid to worry about. Like he was scared to talk. So I don't know if Caleb was involved in this or if he did something and somewhat involved, but the other people that's involved, he's scared of because there's a guy named Mike Busking there. I was told, I can't prove this, it was just hearsay that I've been told numerous times, that he's a meth cooker and he's been cooking meth for many years.
Mm.
And one of Caleb's stories is that he never saw Timmy's face, but then when you listen to the recordings, the guy admits he saw Timmy and talked to Timmy. But when because Caleb went to jail later that day, and he's trying to make it sound like he went to jail before that receipt that was used at 9/11 in the morning. That's not true. He went to jail after that, but he wants everybody to believe that he went to jail before that because that's strange. Whoever had Timmy and used that debit card put it back in his wallet.
Mm-hmm. And that tractor also.
Yeah, and why aren't they interested in that tracker? They haven't done
That's
anything
very
with it or
strange.
nothing. I mean, I don't understand why they're not interested in it.
That's very strange. When that reminds allegedly just gives me authority, police vibes when I hear that part. You know,
Well, and the storage unit.
right? Like wow.
And then for the sheriff not to talk to me, she didn't talk. Now, mind you, this happened on February the 28th. That woman never even talked to me until June 17th, and that was because I kind of forced her hand and went down there beeping. I went down there several times before and beat their uh, doorbell, and she'd send it, and they'd leave me standing out there in the cold. And you could, they got cameras right there looking at you. They know who's out there beeping that doorbell. I feel like they were in there going, who's going to go out and talk to her? You know what I mean? That's the
Mm.
feeling I got. And then
Mm-hmm.
instead of inviting me in to warm up, he walks me into in the parking lot, and he's sitting there trying to convince me that I couldn't prove Timmy was missing from there. Well, then when I start talking about the recording at the gas station, then he goes, well, you can't prove he made the 911 call. I said, so you're telling me somebody took Timmy's phone and called 911 and said somebody's chasing him? Because that's what everybody was telling me at the time. I did
Right.
not know that that report said that his friend was threatening him until June 17th when I went down there and I finally said, I want the paperwork of the 911 call. I want to read it because they don't have a recording of it because lightning struck, they told me. Well, then when I showed up there and went for a ride with the chief of police and showed him the storage units and all of that, they just let me know they had me on body cam. So I did a sunshine law request for that. And lightning struck again on August the 3rd, so I can't get that either. So you don't, I mean, I guess lightning strikes there when you need information from them. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I
That's what
have
it sounds like.
documents to prove that that happened. I mean, I can prove it's my letter. I can tell you what the letter says. It says, unfortunately, on August the 3rd, lightning struck, and we don't have that information for you anymore. Well, then Caleb went to court, or, they came back later and arrested Caleb. And I said, because he had warrants. I said, well, if Caleb was there that night, why didn't you arrest Caleb too? Sounds like to me you never walked up the driveway. So was Trevor out there taking one for the team while they're doing something to Timmy back there? Because he was only 184 yards from there. So what happened? Why didn't you look for Timmy? You arrest that guy. Caleb has his warrant. So where was Caleb? He wasn't there to talk to take on his warrant. So where I can't help but wonder where the kid was, at that time. So they come back later that morning. They arrest Caleb for warrants that had nothing to do with any of this. And Timmy's gone.
Wow. You put you were so sweet to him. You was even putting money on his books.
Yes. Oh, that's what I was going to get at. So then
Your
I had an
sister,
app.
yeah.
I
It's
had an
his
app on my phone, and it showed me putting money on his books. It showed how many times we had talked, and that's all recorded. So I did a sunshine law request to that jail that he was in Ironton, and I took it to the post office. I had it certified lettered, all that, so I would know who signed, what time they got it, and all of that. So I get the letter in the mail, and they said that I get the tracking number. So I
Mm-hmm.
call Ironton, and I said I'm wanting to talk to M. Yunt. They said, M. Yunt, there's no M. Yunt here. There's never been an M. Yunt here. There never will be. And I go, well, I'm a little confused because I'm looking at my paper, and on my paper, an M. Yunt signed for my sunshine law request from your sheriff's office. And then you can hear them mumbling. I got this on recording. You can hear them mumbling between each other. She's got a document. She's got a document. Jimmy was there. I'm sure he's on the chat. And so some lady got on the phone and she says, oh, well, let me go look for it. And then she comes back and she says, well, I can't find it. And I said, well, she goes, will you send me another one? So she gives me an email. We tried to send it to that email like 3 times. It would not go through. I had to call back, ask for another email, sent another one through that email. It finally went through. And then they got 72 hours to respond. I responds to it as far as the law is concerned. That's what they're supposed to do, but they didn't. So I
Right.
called them, and she said that I just asked her, did you get my email? And she said yes. Well, then I waited for like weeks, and I called again, and some guy told me that he talked to his lawyer, and his lawyer told him not to give me anything. And I said, well, sir, I filed the sunshine law request
Mm-hmm.
legally. That's my legal right to have that information. And he goes, my lawyer told me not to give you anything. And click, hung up the phone on me.
Lord mercy. Phew.
But so then I sent another one. And in the other one, I happened to go into the app and look at the time frame, and you could see the transfer of the money, the time frame, and everything, and how many phone calls there was of Caleb and I. And thank God, that was a God moment. I really truly believe, because I screenshotted it when I looked at it for some reason. I don't know what made me do that, but I've never been one that writes things down in a calendar. But I started writing things down on a calendar every day as it happened. I don't even know why I did that, because I normally don't do something like that, but something told me to.
I
So
was gonna say
every
that was your
yeah.
Insta, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So so then I took a copy of it and I printed it out and I sent it with my last sunshine law request. And I got one audio, and it's the same audio. It's actually a video of Caleb talking to me from jail. And he's telling me he don't know what happened to Timmy, and then he promises me he'll do everything he can possibly can to help find Timmy when he gets out of there, but that never happened.
When he gets out, what happened? Did he come to you and did he go to the funeral?
No,
Did he call
he
you? Did he
nothing, nothing,
send you condolence? His mother. Did his mother
nothing.
call you?
And he lived in my house. I mean, I did that kid's laundry.
Right,
I cooked for
right.
him. Yeah, so then one day he
Mm.
does show up at the courthouse, and
This is
I run up to him, and I got a girlfriend sitting with me at the courthouse. And it was hot that day, and he pulls up, and I see some guy walking across the street, and I'm looking at him, and the more because my eyes were in bad shape at that point, because you cry every day. And I thought, oh, that's Caleb. So I got up and I ran up to Caleb. I jumped in his arms and I started bawling. And there was no emotion whatsoever in him. It was really strange. It was a real weird feeling, even, because there was just no emotion from him. And I thought, well, that's odd.
Mhm.
But he came and
His
sat
best
down at the
friend.
courthouse. Well, whoever was in the vehicle with him took a picture of that. I don't know why they would take a picture of that, but they took a picture of Caleb sitting at the courthouse. Well, then his sister throws that out on Facebook, and she starts saying to me, I need to leave her brother alone. Uh, he's trying to take care of his family. He's a family man, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, that's funny. I said, Why is that picture even out there? Why would they take a picture just to prove that they showed up? He showed up one day, because I think that's a little strange,
Right.
that she would do that. And I said, and you weren't there when the conversation happened. I said, but I have a friend that was there, so I have a witness. I said, and your brother did not one time offer to help look for Timmy. This is his exact words. I know it like it happened yesterday. He sat down on the curb. He looked at me after I fell into him, and he didn't. I mean, he was just, it was cold. He was cold. It was weird. And I thought, oh my God, you're not the Caleb that I knew. And
Mm.
so he says, well, I just want you to know Trevor's a family man. I go, oh, a family man that shoots meth and heroin. I said, Caleb, that doesn't sound like a family man to me. I go, what about this Mike Busking? And he goes, well, he dated my mom. And I go, well, he goes, well, my mom's difficult. And then he sat there for a few more minutes. And then he said, Timmy's on the run. And he got up and walked away. That's the whole conversation. He never one time helped us look for Timmy, never came to Timmy's events of searching, nothing. So, I mean, how are you supposed to feel about somebody that never showed up promising who they were and everything? Because if he would have done that, I would have welcomed him in and thanked him for that. Because honestly, I was protecting Caleb in the beginning. I did not want to believe that Caleb would do something to little Timmy. He was little Timmy. He was my baby, but he was his little friend.
Right.
So,
They were,
that's,
they was childhood buddies.
yeah, they went to grade school together.
Wow. What about the other people that was with him that night?
Well, Bobby Boone, this girl Bobby Boone that was at the gas station, and I have her on pictures, she seems to be everywhere in all of these cases that you look at. And I don't
Mm.
understand that, because I mean, there's quite a few cases I could tell you about just in that small area. And she seems to be about, her name's in every one of the cases. And it's like, well, wait a minute.
Mm.
She's outside the gas station talking to Caleb while he's pumping gas. Timmy's inside. And then you see Timmy walk inside with one of the pictures I have. He had no clue what he was walked into. I mean, it's crazy to look at that picture and then think he had no clue he's going to be dying here in a few hours.
Right.
You know,
Right.
he trusted his friend Caleb. And then they're all calling Timmy an alcoholic. All these people are calling Timmy an alcoholic that they questioned. That didn't, but then in the same questions, they admit they've never even met Timmy before that night. So how can you call somebody an alcoholic that you just met that night?
That you
Because
don't even
Caleb,
know.
yeah, that you don't even know because Caleb's telling everybody that.
Spreading
And Timmy
rumors.
was not an alcoholic. He was not an alcoholic.
It sounds like he was spreading rumors to deflect, to get it off of himself. And it sounds also like
And
there's
in
a lot.
victim blaming.
Right.
Victim
Yeah, I
blaming.
couldn't get the word out. Right. Guilt.
And
Yeah,
it's
that
like, so I've heard some of these recordings that is unreal, that they're making Timmy sound like, I mean, and I have compassion for people that have drug problems. That's how I lost my oldest son.
was.
So I'm not trying to belittle or anything people that have drug problems. I have empathy for them. I saw my son go through that. That's what killed him, my oldest son. So I don't mean to be mean when I say this, but Timmy was no junkie. Timmy had a job as a union in a union as a rigger. He had 14 or $1,500 checks at his union hall waiting for him. He was the only one there that had a job. You know what I mean? And it seems like that seems to be what goes on with a lot of these cases too. These people have jobs and futures,
Right.
and they
Do
go there and they end up dead. These young adults.
do you think that he was using Timmy? Because Timmy
Yeah.
had
Well, I
jobs,
have
he had
receipts.
money, he
I
was
have
doing good.
receipt. I have receipts of Timmy was buying Caleb cigarettes. I knew what Caleb smoked. He was buying his cigarettes, he's paying for gas, and he was buying them all Gatorades. I have receipts to prove that was what he used with his debit card too.
He said his sister say yes. Yeah, he was using Timmy. Yeah, taking advantage of
It's
him.
almost like, from what I'm standing back and looking at the whole picture now, I'm coming to the conclusion that they get like, I don't even know how to say it, like they're preyed upon and brought there.
Hmm.
Because
You
I
can see
really
that
do believe that Timmy
before.
was preyed upon. They knew Jim, Jim, or Caleb knew that Timmy was in a bad place grieving his brother. Caleb knew that. And then Caleb was, you're associated with all these people that are involved in drugs, that Jesse Wilfon that got killed. Uh, Caleb was friends with her. So all these people that are intertwined with these drugs know each other.
Um,
And I think Timmy was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't know if he saw something he shouldn't have seen. I don't know what happened, but something happened there. I don't believe he just walked in the woods and laid down and died for no reason, like they're telling me. There's too many things that I have that prove otherwise, but I can't even get a detective or anybody to look at it. I need to go away, case closed.
and that
That
is
ends.
not going to happen.
I can't do that. I don't
That's
know how to
right.
do that.
That's right. Mm-mm. No, 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 ma'am.
And then I
Wow.
thought, you know what? This is my year. I was praying the other day, and all of a sudden it came over me. This is my year. It's 2024. It's election year. If I'm going to get a story out and get something done, I'm doing it. I'm getting it done this year.
That's
I'm
right.
going to go sit at that Capitol again. I'm going to go back to Fredericktown and sit in front of their courthouse this spring. I'm not leaving until at least all I'm asking for is a detective to sit down
That's
and
right.
give him a proper investigation of the case to find out what happened to him. That's all I want. I don't want your money. I want nothing from you. All I would like, and Timmy was a tax-paying citizen. He deserves to at least have his case looked at.
Hey,
I mean, he deserved more than what they're giving him. They didn't mind taking all. I saw Timmy's paychecks, and he would pay a lot of money in income in taxes. They would take $800 a week out of his paychecks. Well, at least you can do then is investigate what happened to him. He was a citizen of the United States. Let's come on. He deserves it.
thank you, Lori. Welcome to Brooklyn Squad. She says contact Pursuing Evil with Kelly Singler. We could look that up for her.
I took a picture of it, so I have it.
You got
I took a
it?
picture of it,
Okay.
but
She got it. Thank
but
you.
thank you. But that's, it's not like I'm
Oh, I
asking
just
for
thought of
much.
somebody
I
too
just
for you.
think,
I just thought of somebody too for you. I'm gonna send you his information though. He just came to
okay.
my mind just now.
I mean,
Just to say, and
I
really
don't
just
know.
to say that
I just don't,
okay.
like I said, all I want is somebody to look at everything and then tell me he just walked in the woods and laid down and died for no reason.
You
And then they
know what?
tried to tell me he froze. I said, well, and Caleb's saying he made a 4-minute phone call with Timmy, and Timmy was saying somebody was chasing him. Well, I'm sorry. I'm 58 years old, and I can run farther than 184 yards in a 4-minute period. So
Mm,
he should have been farther away, and he should have had his phone on him, if what Caleb's saying is true. Correct?
and his phone is missing now. Still.
Yeah.
Mm. Did they give you anything? Of his property? Anything?
No, I was told that if I take any of that and this case gets reopened, that they would call it tampering with evidence. So I was better off leaving it in the locker so that it's not tampered with. So I no, I haven't done that, but I did go take pictures of him at the funeral home, which was one of the hardest things I ever did. I went and had a DNA test done to make sure the bones was his because I didn't trust anything.
That's right.
That was the hardest thing to do. Is you go
Yes.
in and take a DNA test for your baby that you know you gave birth to. I mean, I cried all the way there and all the way home because I was. This is not just
Mm,
Timmy wasn't just a victim, but I feel like I'm a victim that they're in a different way, a victim that they won't do anything to give me any answers to be able to grieve. I mean, I
right.
grieve all the time and I sleep and dream and think about this case every day, all day. It's became overwhelming. It's devastating. I feel traumatized. Just not even by traumatized that he died and I know he's not coming back, but traumatized at the way they've treated me and they won't do anything to look at it. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Like, don't apologize. Don't apologize.
It just seems
I'm
so
sorry.
unfair that you won't even look at anything. You just tell me to go away and that I'm some kind of delusional. And I said, sir, I assure you that's not the case. I said, I'm asking is a reasonable explanation that you can give me on how my son died. But you're
Right.
telling me all these stories that don't make sense. I looked up the weather of the day that he called the 911 and the time, and it was 47 degrees at that time when he made the 911 call. It got up to 67 degrees. And if you're running, you're going to get warmer. You're not going to freeze.
Right.
So that was one of the first stories they tried to give me. And then it went from that one to run him out of his shoes. And then the next one was he
Mm,
just laid down and just died.
mm.
And I talked, my boyfriend and I actually went to his doctor, and they thought he had cancer above his eyebrow, and the doctor was working on his eye. And I became friends with the nurse. She's following Timmy's story, and we got to talking about the condition Timmy's body was in and everything. And that doctor stopped in the middle of that procedure and he looked up at me and he said that there must have been some kind of chemical that was put on Timmy for his body to be in that condition in just a 5 month period.
Wow. Look at the doctor even knew
And they
something
never
was
took
wrong.
any dirt. They didn't take no dirt from the scene. They didn't do any of that you see on that. I thought that's what they do when they found skeleton remains or a body. They check they can go by like bugs and the dirt and all that, but they didn't
Mm-hmm.
do any of that.
They did nothing. They did nothing for your
So I
baby.
mean that it's like they failed him from the minute he could call 911. He was failed. They failed him from the moment he called that made that 911 call.
They
Because
sure did.
I can't help but think, well, if they would have just looked at him and he was hurt or somebody had him, if they just looked around that house or called that phone back or something, he could possibly still be alive because they could have helped him. I can't help but that goes through my head too, you know,
Yeah. I'm so sorry,
because they
Barbara.
were there on the scene at where Timmy was at in 5 minutes.
And did no search, then asked, and
Oh, and
you
then they
know,
put in the newspaper that they didn't even, they was exhausted looking for Timmy because they didn't even know he was missing till March 13th. Well, I have the
mm-mm.
paper. I have the paper. And it's like you guys knew he was missing before that because that was the day I was there getting papers signed for the cadaver dogs. I'd already been there putting out flyers. We'd already been there talking to people. But and when we first got there and I was handing out flyers, they actually get the deputy get one of the deputies from the sheriff's department give us the finger for being there.
Whoa.
They did not want you there. And I can't help but think, well, what happened and what
Whoa.
did they give me Timmy's body because they wanted me to go away from being at their courthouse? I don't know what to believe. I'm just throwing out theories that's come to mind that I just think about a lot.
As I'm listening to you, something came to my mind, and I'm thinking, and this is just me, just just throwing it out, just thinking. I'm saying allegedly. I'm wondering when they went out there, when Timmy made that 911 call. I'm wondering if the police and Timmy's alleged friends, so-called friends, was setting that up right there. Cause they, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I don't know what to believe
no,
anymore.
that's what's going on. I'm just sitting here listening
Well,
to
and
it and
I
just
have been
thinking, like,
told.
cause they didn't go look for him. It's like that they planned a little. They, it
Well,
just,
why did they arrest Well, the Trevor guy that got arrested was Caleb's cousin. He was out in front of the house. Why did they arrest him and not talk to Caleb when Caleb had warrants too and arrest Caleb then?
hmm,
Why did you just, arrest one person because they had warrants, but you didn't arrest the other one? Because I don't think he was there. And then when I asked the highway patrol that, they said, well, he was in the house. I said, well, how do you know that? And he said, because he said so. I said, oh, but
oh,
because everything he says is gospel because he's alive to say it. But Timmy's
mm,
passed now, and he's not allowed here to defend himself. So what Timmy says doesn't have anything to do with the case. That's what Caleb says, so that's the truth.
mm, mm. Wow, the disrespect that they have
Oh,
given
I
you
have
is
always been nice to
crazy.
them, but I'm telling you, the nicer I am to them, it's like they get mad at you because they want you to go
Mm,
off on them. I don't do that. My power comes from God. I don't hand it to somebody else.
I know that's right. Your sister said they went to get a donut. They donuts and their coffees, and were blessed for the
But I
trip.
mean, I can't help it. That's what goes in my head more or most is if they would have just, when they got there, looked for Timmy. That's what the 911 call was for you to look for a person that's being threatened. You look for that person that was being threatened, correct?
Right.
The
That's
person that
right.
made the phone calls who you're supposed to be looking for.
That's right.
So, yeah, Caleb was in the house with this Mike Busking guy. I go, well, how do you know that? Well, they told us so. Well,
They just go by with what they.
I don't know.
Wow. Wow. Can you tell us what happened when you went down there to talk to them? It's
Well,
bad enough they already was disrespectful to her on the phone. I feel like when you went down there, it was like an ambush kind of when you wanted to talk to him, and then the other guy comes in there too.
oh, when I went to the highway patrol, that was August 12th. I can tell you the date.
She knows.
So,
Look, she got her things down packed. She
yeah, I don't
she
even
got
have
to look. She
paperwork here.
know.
I know.
She
So,
know.
because you know why I know? Because my story's true, and you remember your story when you're
It's
telling
look.
the truth.
That's right. That's
So, well, I got up, and it had been close. They told me it's going to be 8 weeks before Timmy's coroner report was in, and I was like, okay. So it was like a couple days before the 8th week, which they already knew what they were going to write on it. It was pretty obvious. So I thought, well, I'm going to take a drive down to the coroner's office and see if I can get a copy of his coroner's report. I
right.
go in there, and the secretary's in there, and she says to me, she asked me what I'm there for, and I said, "Oh, I just want to talk to the coroner for a minute." She goes, "Well, he's not here," and I said, "Okay." I said, "Thank you," and I was going to leave. She goes, "No, no, no. Who are you? Who are you?" And I go, "No, that's all right. I'll just come back at a later date." And then she goes, "No, here, I need just let me write your name down." So I gave her my name, and she goes, "And your phone number, and he'll be back, and I'll just have him call you." And I was like, "Okay." So be honest with you, the motor went out in my car, and they gave me a really nice Kia Sportage. It was nice, and it was nice to drive. And I thought, it's 45 minutes to the highway patrol. I think I'll just drive there and surprise them because they ain't never talked to me, you
Mm,
know. So I drove there, And while I was on my way there, the coroner calls me, and I have this, I had this funny feeling, and I said, "Well, sir," I said, "can I just ask you if uh, if Timmy had his clothes on and if his body was intact?" I said, "If you can't answer that, I don't understand. I don't really know the laws, but can you answer that question for me?" He goes, "Oh yeah, he was all together." I go, "Okay." But unfortunately, at that time, that was just stuff that, if I knew what I knew now, I'd have bought a recorder then so I could have this on recording to prove this. But
Right.
it's not, I promise you, that's God's honest truth, what he said to me. And then I get to the highway patrols and I go in and they said, oh, they're at lunch. It's going to be an hour or so, probably two before they get back. And you want to go get something to eat and come back? And I go, no, I think I'll just sit here. So I went out in my car and I sat and I did a lot of praying, jammed on some Christian songs, and I just was praying and asking God to give me the strength to do this and let me be an example of who He is in me so that I don't go in there and go off because you want to, the way they treat you.
Right.
So I just did a lot of
And
praying
you
and
know,
then I sat out in that car for 2 hours and I mean, it was August 12th, so it was hot. And I thought, man, I could probably sleep in this new car because I'm not going anywhere until they talk to me.
mm,
So I go in there. I asked for John West because he seemed to be a little nicer than Jeff Johnson to me.
mm,
They were the detectives that were on the case from the highway patrol. And he comes out and I put my hand on. I go, well, maybe we just got on a bad start or something because I'm not understanding all of this. And he goes, well, come on, let's go in the back and we'll talk. And I said, okay. So he brings me back in this room. We walk in there and there's a lie detector machine chair there and another chair. And I go, oh man, that's a little intimidating. Try to make a joke.
right, right, right.
And he goes, no, he goes, I said, but I'll sit there because I know what I'm saying is not, the truth.
That's
He
right.
goes, no, let me go get another chair. So he comes back with this chair, and Jeff Johnson is behind
Mm.
him coming in the door. The door doesn't even get closed
Well,
all the way. And Jeff Johnson starts saying to me, you went to the coroner's office. You went to the coroner's office. And I
mm,
said, yes, sir, I did. I went to the coroner's office. What's the big deal? Aren't I allowed to go to the coroner's office? I just thought maybe my son's report would be done. I didn't think that would, I mean, what's wrong with that? I
right.
didn't see anything wrong with it. Then he sits down and he gets on me for doing podcast. And a lady called me one night when Timmy was still missing at 11:30 at night, and she was crying and she was going on about how she had found a body and what I and so I didn't know what to do with that information. I was freaking out. So I called the highway patrol, Jeff Johnson, the guy that's on my son's case. And I woke him up. It was 11:30 at night. I woke him up. So the next day he calls me and starts going off on me on how I can't call him. He didn't get to go to sleep, back to sleep. And I said, I'm sorry, sir. I said, I didn't know what to do with that information. So I was calling you because you're the guy that's on Timmy's case, correct? Well, then he told me never call him again except for the hours between 8 and 4. And I was like, okay, but every time I called him after that, he never answered the phone, except for when I called him and asked him where Timmy's body was. But I would
Mm,
text him and say, hey, I'm calling you, and you said I can call you from 8 to 4, and now you won't answer to me. I mean, I have text messages to prove that.
mm, mm, mm.
So then after Timmy was found and everything, and I called him, I they wouldn't tell me where Timmy's body was at. So he said, and he kept texting me, it's the examiner's office. Well, what examiner? I said, I don't know. So finally I get a hold of him, calling him. And he goes, I told you he's at the examiner's office. And I said, sir,
Mm.
I've called the examiner's office and they said he's not there. I said, so I'm asking you where they took Timmy. And he goes, he starts screaming at me, you need to listen to me. And I
Oh
go,
Lord,
I did. I go, no, you need to listen to me. I said,
that's
I have the
right.
right to know where my son is and I want to know. And he hung up the
That's
phone on
right.
me.
That's right. Cause you had enough. You was you.
I
Thank you.
wasn't rude. I was just said, no, you just listen to me. You're not going to tell me I have to listen to you.
Right.
I have the right to know where my son's body went.
That's right. That's right. You have been nice enough to them. Genuine. I mean, they should be. They. Oh, they just make me
All
so
I
mad.
want is them
Oh.
to do their jobs, but I'm
Oh.
not so sure they're capable of doing their jobs
Mm,
because I've heard about all these other cases and it's the same people involved. So I can't help but there's something more going on there
mm.
than just them being lazy. Because at first I thought maybe they were just lazy, and didn't like doing
Yeah.
their
Right.
jobs.
But
But
after a
the
while,
more and
it's
more
like,
I've learned about
mm,
my son's case and the more I've heard about these other cases, there's something definitely going on there.
right, definitely. Very. Oh, you gotta watch what I say on YouTube because they do the guidelines, but they just make me so mad. Cause
Well, and then,
it's like,
why it's this tooth.
oh,
Why is this tooth gone? And when
mm,
I got a picture and it's got all of his teeth on the scene or when he was found, this tooth is gone. There's dirt. I mean, and this bone right kind of up above your tooth it looks like it's gone. And there's dirt and grime and like leaves and everything all over them. And then I look at those pictures, and then I looked at the pictures that the coroner and the pathologist sent me, and they have all of his bones put out in arrangement. And you look at his teeth, and all the teeth are there. And it looks like a patch job was done right here, to be honest with you, above his tooth, to keep
that
his
right
tooth
there.
in.
See what
Well,
your
then
sister
you
said?
don't document it at all. And I don't think they thought I was going to get that picture. And
Oh,
it's like, so
that's probably what it was.
wow. So you did.
Wow.
Why did you do that if there's nothing wrong? Because if you look at the pictures that they gave me after he was given to us to take to the funeral home, before, and the pictures that I took at the funeral home myself, that guy looked at me like I was crazy because I told him, I said, I'm coming to see my son. He was like, what? Do you know what you're going to be seeing? And I said, yes, sir. I said, but I don't trust anything anymore. And so I took my own pictures, and the tooth's
Mm,
there, and his teeth are all white and clean. Up here, his top teeth. It's like, wait a minute, this just don't make sense. So then I go to the coroner's report, and there's nowhere on the coroner's report where they put the tooth back in. There's no pictures of the tooth by itself, nothing. But and then they do state that there's like some little pivots in his bones, but they believe that them pivots are from a childhood infection. Well, I'm sorry, I was his mom. If he had a childhood infection like that, I think I would have known about it. So what are you? I can't help but think that something's being hid.
mm. You see what your sister said? She hit it right there, and that's what I've been saying. Corruption, bad.
And
Yes.
and I talked to these other mothers that lost family members there, and these other mothers, they're scared to death. There's a lot of people that just are afraid to death. They're scared of something that they won't speak out. I mean,
Yeah.
like Ashley, her mom she said I could tell her daughter's story, but she's got grandkids from her daughter that she's trying to get out of foster care, and this has been going on since October 8th, 2021. So she's afraid to speak out because she don't want any problems. But her daughter did not hang herself on a shower curtain rod in a camper weighing 160 pounds. Doesn't happen.
Mm.
And they're calling that one a suicide.
I,
Just
th- I
like, I
believe it.
mean,
I believe it. I've heard so many um, family members, and even even on the news and stuff. Like when we was talking, no, oh, you wasn't in here, but the other day, I think you was in here. Was you in here when we was talking about all those bodies that they found at the jail? I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
I heard
That's
about it, but I don't think
crazy.
I was on here. But I did.
I don't know if you was on here,
I
but
think I
no, you
watched
wasn't on
it.
here. You wasn't. You wasn't on
I
here.
watched it after.
That's
I missed it and watched
crazy.
it after. Like 215 bodies at the jail. Yeah.
Yes. What?
Well, that's what I'm saying. He had a tracker on it in his pocket. And then he was given to me. I feel like he was given to me because I think they figured out I wasn't going to go nowhere. I'm still not going to go
Mm.
anywhere, but I guess they thought if they gave him to me because the highway patrol told me that day, aren't you just happy and grateful that we found him for you? And I said, well, yes, I'm grateful that you found him for me. God bless you. It's a blessing that he was found. I said, but I still don't want to know what happened to him.
Right. So
So, since you
they
just brought that up, it makes me wonder, what did they put trackers on these bodies and then they dug him out and they put him to me where he was for him to be found, and that's why I got him?
mm, you never know. Yeah,
It
you never.
makes you wonder, don't it?
Mm-hmm. Carly says, "Hey Bob, I'm here."
That's my neighbor.
Aw. Or FBI. Your sister says, or the FBI.
Well, the FBI, when I called them, they told me that they don't get involved unless the sheriff asks them to get involved. Well, if there's some corruption, allegedly, if there is, a sheriff's not going to ask the FBI to come in. Are you kidding? I mean, come on, we all got more common sense than that. If I'm corrupt, I'm not going to ask the FBI to come in and say, hey, help me out here. Come on. That's what's crazy about our laws. I was a little shocked when they said, oh, well, we can kind of help if she invites us to come in and ask for our help. Like,
Oh,
what?
God. Hey Julie.
But
Julie
you
says,
would not believe the power sheriffs have. Sheriffs have a lot of power. I don't know about how the other states are, but sheriffs have a lot of power. Our governor can't even fire a sheriff. The only person that can fire a sheriff in the state of Missouri is a coroner, and she's the assistant coroner.
wow, I didn't know that. Your sister says 100%.
I mean,
Mm, mm,
I
mm.
think that I don't think she should be able to be a sheriff and an assistant coroner. I heard she's not going to run for sheriff this year, which I wouldn't either if I was her. I'd be smart enough to know I'm not going to win. Because believe me, her name's everywhere.
Wow.
And so she's going to go work at the coroner's office. So is that going to help the people if she goes and works at the coroner's office and there's already all this going on? Because I talked to the prosecutor and I told the prosecutor, I said, it seems like to me that the police and the highway patrol and the sheriff tell the coroner what to write down on these death certificates, and that's what they do. And he said yes, but I can't. That was a
Yeah.
conversation between him and I. That's so I guess it's
Yeah, yeah,
hearsay
yeah.
to you guys, but he
Yeah, I
that
get it.
that, that was talked about.
Katie says, wow. Wow. Yeah, this is, whew. Wow.
Like I said, I've
She,
got probably 10,000 papers printed out of information I got about Timmy in this case, and nobody will look at it. When I tried to give it to the highway patrol, they told me it
mm,
was lies. So how can you tell me it's lies if you won't look at it? All I want is somebody, a detective, to look at it and give me a reasonable explanation, and then I'll go live my life helping the home or the
mm,
missing. But until then, I don't know what to do with myself.
yeah.
And then I sit here and I get sometimes sad, I can't say angry, but just sad because I don't understand that they can put us in those positions where we can't. How do you move on? I don't know how to do that. I mean, how do you grieve when you don't have the answers?
Mm, wow. Well, I definitely, we got to keep putting your son's story out. You definitely need an investigator or advocate also. You know,
Yeah.
we got to get you an advocate, someone that's going to be out there with you, with signs. Listen,
Because I was told that if I didn't shut up, and I want this to be known, I am not suicidal.
yeah, please share
Because
that.
I was told by I've been told by a couple of cops that I know. I've been told by a PI, and I've been told by a lawyer that if I don't shut up, I could be dead. That people are watching me. It's like that it could get me killed. Well, but I know where I'm going. I ain't afraid of dying. I'll just go be where my kids are. But I still believe Timmy deserves justice.
That's right. I believe so too. I believe all victims deserves justice,
Right.
and yeah, no families should have to go through this.
Well,
No
it's like,
family.
it's my son. I've lost both my kids, and they knew I'd already just lost my other son. You'd think they'd have some compassion to the way they talk to you or treat you or just kind of be there. But I got nothing. And then when I said, the way they talk to you is like I'm a piece of dirt on the street. And
Mm.
it's like, wow, I was kind of shocked.
When you first when you first heard them speaking to you like this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because remember, I was telling you,
I
I was
wasn't
like,
expecting it. I wasn't expecting them to
right,
talk to me the way they were. When the
right,
highway patrol got involved, I'm not gonna lie, I started dancing at my girlfriend's house saying, "Yes, it's the
right.
highway
It's like,
patrol. They're gonna get
finally, I
something
go,
done, finally." And
right.
then wow, then I get all these other phone calls with these people telling me about what happened with these same highway patrol, same troopy, the same sheriff in the same corner. Well, that can knock a person down after you get excited thinking something's going to get done. And then you hear about all these cases that all these people are involved in. And nothing change. They don't solve the cases. I met a lot of great people. I mean, there is a lot of good people in that town. And believe me, I'm going to be there to remind them to vote because that's the only way you get change in them little towns is to vote. And what I understand, Katie, the sheriff, somebody told me around election time she would go mow like old people's grass and stuff, and they'd put it in the newspaper and stuff to get her
Mm,
voted in.
mm, mm,
Because
mm.
the sheriffs, the towns vote them sheriffs in. So I'll be there when that election's going on and before
Make
then.
sure, yeah, you look. I know your sister gonna be right there too. Like,
Oh yeah, I'm
gonna be
not
right
going
there by your
anywhere.
side.
This is my year to get justice for
That's
Timmy.
right.
It's election year and people pay more attention during election time.
You said that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
You
I'm
said
going to
that.
be
That made
sitting
a
at
lot of
their
sense.
courthouse. And I was there last spring when I went. A guy pulled over in his car and he goes, who would you vote for if you were voting for sheriff?" And I said, "Well, I don't know yet." And he goes, "Well," he goes, "I want to vote for whoever you vote for." He goes, "Because I trust you. I don't trust anything in this town." I'm like, "So
Mhm.
you think I'm not going to be there reminding people?"
I know that's right. And he see you out there fighting for your baby, he's gonna trust you. You're making the right decision. You're, yeah. And it's a shame because I've seen so many parents go through this, you know,
Right.
and they shouldn't, and y'all shouldn't have to.
Well, I thought that's what they were for. I mean, like I said, man, I started dancing, was hallelujah and everything when the highway patrol was in. And then at
Mm,
one point, some guy told us this. Oh man, I was sitting at the courthouse. This girl's Kate showed up. She started handing out flyers. I thought she was just trying to be nice, and helping out. Come to find out, her and her husband knew some guy that said that Timmy's body was in some campers in Markland, Missouri, which is still Madison County. He saw Timmy's body there and stuff, and So I meet up with her a few times. Then the PI, Timmy's dad, and I, and who else was there? And that was it. It was her husband, her, the guy, he went by the name of Tom, me, and Timmy's dad. And he told us the gory story of some stuff that he had heard. And so we tell the highway patrol. The highway patrol go in there like, I'm just gonna say it, like bad out of hell with no warrants. People are running out of place,
Mm.
walking down the gas stations and everything because we was told Timmy's body was in these campers. And
Wow.
then the highway patrol said, "Well, we don't have any warrants." It's like, well, what'd you go there for then? Why
Right.
would you not wait till you have warrants to go there so you could search everything? Then a few weeks later, them campers are gone. So I questioned that. Said,
Hmm.
why are them campers
Interesting.
gone? I got pictures of the campers. So I'm like, why are they gone? Oh, well, we changed the city ordinance. I go, oh, they've been
Hmm.
there for 30 years and all, flat tired, everything,
Hmm.
been there forever. Now all of a sudden they're gone. And they're the only two gone because if you look around the town, there's other campers that don't have plates and flat tires on them. But the two ones we were talking about are gone. That just seemed fishy to me. And we
Yeah.
paid this guy $1,000 for the information. I got his full name, and it's not
What?
Tom. I got a picture of him and everything. And the highway patrol said they were going to go after him for extorting us for $1,000, and they never went after him either. And I got pictures of him. I got it. I got his real name and everything, but they don't want to even look at it. When I tried to talk to him about it, they said it has nothing to do with Timmy's case. It's like, well, that's not what you said in the beginning. In the beginning, they said they were going after him to get our $1,000 back.
Wow, that's crazy.
I could talk for many hours of just stuff that I have that I just can't seem to get anybody to be
I'm so
concerned about.
sorry, Barbara.
Or you're afraid you don't know who you can trust to
Oh,
give the information to, you know?
right. That too. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But I'm praying, and, you know, there's
Well,
somebody out there
we
that
gotta.
is going to be
There's this.
my miracle.
There's this guy right on Facebook. I'm gonna send you his link, and I'm gonna let him know about you. I think if I'm not mistaken. Oh, but he lives in Atlanta. But I'm pretty sure he lives in Atlanta.
I was told I probably need to go out of Missouri to get anything done because who do you trust here? Because I talked to my governor and that I talked to my senator. I've my Mondays are call days. I call everybody
Okay.
because the weekends, nobody's there. Weekends are kind
Hmm.
of hard to get through. And then
Yeah.
Monday morning, I'm refreshed. I get my little book out that has everybody's number, and I start make calls on
Making your
Mondays.
phone calls. Well, I'm
I,
definitely. I want you to reach. I want you to talk to this guy because I had him on my platform before. When we had like a 24-hour crime marathon. It was
mm,
me and another content creator by the name of Sharon Nation that does true crime documentary. Really, really nice young lady, a friend of mine's from the
great.
internet, of course. But and he was on here and he lives in Atlanta and I know that he fights for families.
That'd be
Like,
great.
yeah, like
I believe in miracles. I've been praying.
your
Something's gonna
case,
change.
your case is the cases that and he just dawned on me when when the young lady was talking about, she gave you another name and I don't know why. It's like he just dawned on me, but your case is the case that he fights for. Like he gets up there and he's like, and he's against the whole corruption thing and all that. Like he's one of those people, yeah.
Yeah.
So I really want you to I'm gonna send you his Facebook thing and stuff.
Okay.
And I want to reach out to him too and let him know a little bit about you. And I want you to hook up with him because I'm always seeing him out there.
Okay, thank you.
Always seeing him out there fighting for families. So,
And then, I listen to all these cases. It's like, thank all of you for what you do. I want you guys to know, if it wasn't for you guys, I didn't even know what a podcast was when
oh,
this
yeah, you told me
I
that.
mean, Arctic Fox, I think that was a prayer answered. I don't know how he even found me or I found
Uh,
him, but he was a blessing in my life to get the story out
he's
that Timmy was
awesome.
missing. Like I said, I didn't know what a podcast was. I hadn't had Facebook for a few years, so I wasn't on any social media. And now I'm trying to get on every social media thing I can find.
That's right. Yep. That's right. Get your baby story out there. And also, his name is Reverend Michael Ben Yusuf.
I like the name Michael.
So
My son, Mike, my
I'm
oldest
gonna,
son's name was Michael.
yes, I'm gonna, oh wow. I'm gonna, send you his thing right now. But, what I was gonna say. Yeah, I always see him everywhere. Like everywhere, everywhere.
Thank you for doing this. I
Yeah.
know this is work for you guys, and I do appreciate what you guys do to get stories out, because I don't know what I would do if it wasn't for you guys helping me get his story out. Other than they're going to find my skeleton remains in front of their courthouse. That's what I told him. I said, "You'll find my skeleton remains in front of your courthouse before I go away, just like you found my
Mm,
son's." And then the judge's wife, she got in an argument with me.
no, we want you to get justice for your baby. I just sent it to you just now.
Okay, I just got it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I just sent it to you. We
Thank you
want
for
you to
doing
get.
this tonight.
You welcome. You welcome. We want you to get justice. We want you to get some type of answers. It's definitely not right what they're doing to you. I hear this a lot, and it's disgusting how they talk to the parents, how they treat y'all. I don't understand. It's
I
like
mean, if that's the
if
way they
something
treat
happens
you
to would they if something was to happen to the to God forbid to
to their
them,
children, yeah, their
right?
kids. Yeah, it'd be
Like,
a whole, it would be totally different. And the thing too is, I told the prosecutor, I said, if this is the way they talk to grieving parents, knowing I just lost my other son, then they need to go back to some training, or something needs to be done the way that they treat and talk to you, because
hmm,
it's devastating and you're traumatized already. I
wow,
mean, my life is totally upside down changed. I mean, I'm not going to see my Timmy wanted babies. He talked about even wanting a little boy he was going to name Michael. I mean,
wow,
I don't ever going to see him be in love and get married. I'm not going to have grandkids. It's unfair that they can talk to you and treat you that way and not even try to find out what happened to your loved one when they know
hmm,
you have nothing left. I mean, I don't have a future of grandkids to have and live. And that's what aches at me, that you can just be okay with treating people the way that they've treated me, knowing that. And I'm not asking for any more other than for them to please investigate this.
right.
Please, just, you closed it and you don't even got a reasonable explanation of what happened to him for me. Sorry, gosh. Said I
No,
wasn't
don't
going to do
be
that.
sorry. If anything, we're sorry that you have to go through this.
I don't think I'm
I'm
asking
sorry you have to
for
go through this.
that much by just asking them to investigate his case. That's all I'm asking. I thought that's what their jobs were. I trusted them. I had trust in them.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was saying earlier, how we put our trust in these authorities, these police officers with the badge and the guns, and we're supposed to protect us and trust
Well,
them.
it's not like I distrust all of them either. I mean, I know one right now. There was a girl, and they just found her. And there was they found this young girl is in Marble Hill, Missouri. It's considered Bollinger County, and it's not far from Fredericktown. That's where Caleb and I raised my kids at. That's how Timmy knew Caleb, because I raised my kids in that small town. Well,
Right.
that sheriff there, he does his job. I'm telling you.
Good
Somebody
for
comes up,
him.
I mean, even the highway patrol were involved in a few cases. This same highway patrol were involved in a few cases in his area. And even though they said no foul play and moved on, that sheriff did his job and found out what happened to him. You know,
Good for
so,
him.
I mean, the sheriffs have power. They can still investigate these cases. That sheriff's not even talked to me. When I went to the Justice Center and walked in there and she was there, not one word, didn't even look at me.
Mm, mm, mm.
So it's not like just because the highway patrol stepped out does not mean the sheriff can't still do their jobs and investigate these cases. But she don't even talk to me.
Shame on her. Mm, that's a
I
shame.
was told that she goes around saying if drugs were involved, that's just another druggie she don't have to worry about. That's off her streets. That's what she says.
Wow. I'm so sorry, Barbara. But
Numerous people.
we're gonna keep sharing Timmy's story, and we're gonna try to get you an investigator and do the best that we can.
All right. Thank you. And
Okay?
thank you, everybody that's here. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And I'm
And then
definitely,
have you heard of Kit True Crime?
huh?
Kit True Crime.
Uh-uh.
She's been really good to me
Okay.
getting Timmy's story out too.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be on
God
your life.
bless
She should be on there tonight because she said she was going to go on your She was going to support you.
you. Oh, I probably do her. I don't know. I gotta see. I'll check her platform out and show her
Yeah.
some love.
She's been doing these things for a while that were called Missouri.
I probably do. I don't know. If you could send me her link and I'll
Okay.
check her platform out.
Okay.
Okay? All
All
right.
right. You have a blessed
I'm
night.
keeping you in prayer, okay?
Thank you.
You're
You have a blessed
welcome.
night. Bye
You
bye.
too. Thank you. Aw. Well, everyone, thank you for joining. Brooklyn Squad, real life drama, real life crimes. I see you, Jimmy Myers. Thank you, Bobby Miller for the lawless files. Bob Miller, oh, are you from Bob Miller, the lawless files? Hey, I watch you. Yes, I think I just subscribed to you. Thank you for joining. Yes, you are amazing. Thank you, Mary. It was so nice meeting you, and I'm sending my condolences to you and your family again. Everyone, please let's continue to say a prayer for this family because they definitely need the prayer. You know, God works. Ooh, and prayer works. When I tell you prayer works, prayer works. So let's continue to still pray for her, push her story out. Rather if it's my platform, Artifact's platform, Jimmy Myers platform, any platform that you see Timmy Dees story on, push it out, share it, and don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Because when you hit the thumbs up, It goes in the algorithm and it lets people know, hey, who's Timmy D? Oh wow. And maybe another content creator will want to work on this, and they'll see Timmy D's story, and work on it and want to help as well. Okay? Justice for Timmy Dees. Justice for Timmy Dees. Justice for Timmy Dees. Justice for Timmy Dees. Say his name, say his name, say his name. Everyone, have a blessed night.